Hello, I am Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm your co-host, Isabel Black. Here is our host and the professor of change, Brenda Ringwood. So grab your popcorn, grab your favorite drink, and you already know it. Grab your notebook. You'll want to take notes. Enjoy.
Hello, it's Bren. We are doing BTBY TV talk show. I'm with Erin Paige. You know, it's a treat to get to work with her. And we're sitting here in her studio. I'm very fortunate to be able to get a tour of what she's got going on here. This beautiful artwork. So for those of you that don't know, Erin is many things. She's multi-talented. So Erin, before we get into who you are, tell us what you do.
Well, you said it. I do a lot of things. Where do I start? But I absolutely, I think I love to first and foremost speak and to take a stage and help shift people's lives through my God-gifted voice. The artwork is absolutely very, very important to me because there's a story behind it, and I can certainly share that as well. And then I call myself the Dream Igniter.
I know, and I
Yeah,
love it.
the Dream Igniter. So
What does that mean?
Well, DREAM, I'm big into acronyms. So DREAM to me stands for Dare Radiantly Every Day and Moment.
That's beautiful.
And so I really, you can call yourself a coach, you can call yourself, a mentor, but I really feel like I ignite the spark in people's dreams when they're open. Exactly, because ultimately we are who we are, and sometimes we just start piling all that stuff on it, and we've never lost our dreams, our soul, our that true essence of who we are. It's just sometimes it gets covered up. So
buried.
Yes, completely buried.
Yes,
and I can tell you that has happened to me, and that's one of the reasons why I think that I can come to that space of igniting people's dreams through heart-centered guidance, because I've been through it myself.
Yeah.
So
you also have a book out, right?
I do. I release you to become who you came here to be. I call it a guidebook. It is 18 Notes to Self, and it was actually inspired by momisms. I was texting my son throughout high school, and I thought, they were life lessons. And so it's kind of this working guidebook / journal as well. So
it's nice. It's nice. So we'll get into a little bit of that too. But Erin, I met her at an event that she did last year. It was her dream party. And I'm watching her, and I said, she's really got something going on. I need to get to know her. So we met, we connected, and then she came and spoke at our BTBY virtual event. She's part of our BTBY platform of speakers. She spoke in February. Let me tell you what she did. She completely changed what she was going to talk about because she was able to read the room and to see what the people needed, because the whole movement of BTBY is about becoming a better person. So, sometimes what you go to originally set out to do changes. So as a speaker, you have to be willing to change with it, and that means maybe 10 minutes prior to getting on that stage, what you're going to talk about changes. And that's kind of what happened with Erin. So she's very, very experienced in being able to read a room and to do that. But life is what gave you your experience to do that.
Yeah, I think that it's I do think that I have a good feel for adapting. And that, is pretty much my life story too.
Right.
And you just have to adapt to the scenario that's going on. And you can either choose to see it as, I like to say good, seeing the good or the not so good. I don't really like to say bad or that we've failed and that, that we're broken. It's, we just got off of our path a little bit, and we just have to make those adaptations and shifts to get back on that track of feeling good.
Right.
And isn't that what life should be about? Is feeling good.
You should be happy, and if you're not happy, then why are you doing what you're doing? You're like, talk to me about how you grew up.
Well, I grew up in a very creative home. My mom is, she has paintings that are quite beautiful and abstract, and I joke with my sister that if I don't get them in the will, then I'm gonna knock her down because she can have all the other stuff. Yes. I just want my mom's paintings. And then my dad, he is or was a mechanical engineer, so he could
meticulous.
Yes, and he could draw you, and it would look exactly like you. So I had that balance,
and you kind of picked up on some of his talent.
Yes. And so I grew up in the Midwest. I'm still here in the Midwest, and I love it. And was involved in everything. I mean, I was the girl that would change in the backseat of the car from, dance lessons to singing lessons to drama lessons to, whatever it was, Girl Scouts and I had a really, I would say, uplifting, fruitful, childhood. And then there were some times, when I graduated and went to the university, you live in this world of being taken care of, and you've got supportive parents and all of that, and then you go to a big university.
And all that's pulled away.
And you get lost, and you get off what I talked about earlier, that path. And, there were some kind of icky things that happened, from rape to having an accident to all of it. But Bren, at the end of those 4 years, I realized that I needed to get back on my path.
Yeah, you couldn't let what happened to you stop you.
Exactly. And I will say this, that my mom at the top of the hill before graduation, and before they went to the stadium, she stopped by and she just took me aside and she said, if I had to go through half of what you've gone through, I don't think I would have made it. Wow. That's a tribute to who you are, Erin, and never forget that.
Wise words.
Very wise words. And I love my mom to death, but she's just not that expressive in that way.
But she was
so
then.
She was then, and it was an observation that she saw, and here's another point in life, she felt compelled to share it. How many of us feel something and we forget, or we move on, or maybe this person doesn't need to hear it.
Or you think they might get mad at you if they
exactly.
hear it.
Yes. So I'm just here to tell you that if you are feeling like you are, want to hold back from something or sharing something, a compliment, or even if it's a concern, that's okay. It's either way. Please say it, because
it's how you say it, though.
Well, sure, it is, and it's also
I agree.
how how it's delivered and how it's perceived by the other person, and just that one moment. I reflect on that all the time.
It stuck with you.
Yes, and those in the moments of the muck, because there's still muck that happens in my life. It happens in everybody's life, right?
Does. And if you say it doesn't, I want to know your secret.
Yeah, exactly. let's market it, right?
Yeah, right.
Let's bring you on as a team member.
Yes.
Exactly. So just that has been a defining moment for me. And anytime that I'm in that muck, I hold on to those words. I go, you know what? She's right. She's right. I have something to offer this world. And even though I may have fallen off the path a little bit, I have been through so much. I've already adapted to all these different things. And, sometimes with that adaptation, you can really find out who you really are.
Yes, you can.
Because we are just inundated from, social media, people talk, all of
Regardless
that.
if it's truth or lies.
Exactly. And and it's all in how someone perceives that information, including yourself.
Right. Because it actually, how you perceive it is the most important, because it's going to affect how you move on from it or through it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get stuck in it.
Well, and part of that comes, for me personally, comes through faith. It's just, I have total faith that I was put here for a reason, and that God made me the way that He made me. He put me in those not so good situations so I could learn, so I could show up as a better speaker, as a better dream igniter, as a better friend, as a better, in a relationship.
Just a better person.
Exactly.
It could have went the other way, though. It could have made you bitter, angry, horrible to be around. That the only people that are going to be around you are your family, because they feel they have to love you.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. So you chose to see the positive side of it.
Well, and that comes down to, I didn't stay at the pity party. I tell
There you
people
go.
all the time that
There you
everyone
go.
has the right to their pity party. They do. They have the right to feel how they want to feel. But it's how long you stay at that party that matters. And for a long time, I was in a pity party that lasted for months, probably years. And then I decided that, I was like, you know what? I was brought here for a higher purpose. And I am going to now allow myself 24 hours.
Okay.
And to feel what I need to feel, and cry it out, and just get it all out. And do you know that I think I've only, I don't remember the last time that I used those 24 hours, because I crawl back into bed and I go, I'm not going to see anybody today, or I'm not going to do this, and I just can't. And then I go, wait a minute, are you kidding me?
Right.
Are you serious? You are going to stay in bed all day long because of someone else's opinion.
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, because you know in your heart and soul that you were brought here for a purpose.
There's a quote, and I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Les Brown, but it says, other people's opinion of you are really none of your business.
It's true. It is so true.
And when you make it your business, now they're taking up space in your head.
Yes. Well, and that comes down to a level of awareness, and that's one thing that I like to assist clients with, is that level of awareness.
Yes.
Because sometimes we're not aware that what's going on and what's being projected on us. But our gut, I guarantee, if someone really tapped in and said, well, but that kind of knot in my stomach, it started from the beginning, but they weren't equipped with and they weren't aware of the or they didn't have the tools at the time to be aware of it.
Right.
And so I always, if you've got something, whether it's like butterflies, which a lot of times mean good things,
it can
or there can be that
anything.
tenseness.
Yes.
Pay attention to that, because that's your answer.
And that's what they say about your gut feeling.
Yes.
That's what that means.
Exactly. And that's just God and Spirit going, hey, knock, knock.
That's right.
Just giving you a little nudge here.
If you would have had, times are a little bit different now. People do tend to speak out more about rape and the things that have happened to them in the past. But back when this happened to you in college, it was like taboo. Don't talk about that.
Well, part of the reason why I didn't talk about my rape is, or even my accident, is because of, again, people's perceptions of me. Girl Scout Gold Award, National Honor Society. Oh, she's such the good girl. None of that stuff happens. Things like this don't happen to Erin.
Yes.
Oh, yes, they do. They do. And it took me, to be honest, all that really did at the beginning was it put me in a downward spiral.
Did you ever go through depression?
Oh, I'm sure I had. Well, the depression came out with drinking more alcohol and hanging out with people that didn't.
You shouldn't have been hanging out with.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that ultimately was
That's how you handled it.
That's how I handled it.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting I was a senior, and I was sitting in my apartment in the summer time, and I broke down, and I hadn't even really told my parents all the details of things, and I just remember calling and I finally asked for help. I was like,
It's okay to ask for help.
And it is. It is.
But
And
we're so afraid of what people are going to think that if we ask for help.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I think you will find in this world, even as negative as it is, that there are people who really do want to help.
I can guarantee it. And you know, the viewers, I'll be the first one to raise my hand. If I don't know, then I probably know someone that does.
Go find it. Yes,
exactly.
And sometimes you find yourself in a state where you're not able to go find that person. Your mindset's not good. You're down on yourself. And we do, including myself. The woe is me. How did I get here? And we tend to focus on that instead of how am I going to get up out of here? That is where we need to look at. You can't change the past, but you don't have to let it drag your future down. So you went through college, you went through some negative things that happened to you, and then the real life started. Talk to us about that.
The real life started. So, married, had a beautiful baby boy, and we're still very much, I'm an empty nester now, and but we still have a great connection. But the relationship itself wasn't a healthy one, and so left that and actually married again. And again, that was someone else's perception of what they thought Erin should have in her life.
The kind of husband that you needed, not the kind of husband that you wanted. Not that you needed,
exactly.
But that they thought you needed.
Well, and it wasn't, it wasn't necessary. It's not that other individual was a bad person.
Right,
it just wasn't a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I'm so glad that it happened, because the artwork behind here and the hearts,
That what inspired it?
Well, yes, because
And
I was designing jewelry
Yeah.
at the time, and I was spending most of my time in an unfinished basement.
That's depressing.
Well, yeah, but I was designing my jewelry line and all of that, and I had a beautiful home above me, fancy cars in the garage, and really
Had that image.
Yeah, well, and the fancy,
I was gonna ask you. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's actually wording on the top of her hillsides back here.
Yes,
and it's all positive.
Well, it is. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I got to get my spectacles on that. Let's see. The visions I see in your eyes are like I am seeing myself. We are beautiful creatures, you and I, seeking and searching, expanding. It is as if, got to turn around, it is as if we are on and have been experiencing hand in hand. May love continue to connect us through our visions. Mm-hmm. So those are just intuitive writing, and I just love to add that little extra something.
And it is. When you first look at it, it just looks like maybe some grass, but it's actually words. That's how creative she is. She comes up with stuff. Yeah. But her creativeness is not just in her artwork; it's also in her dream igniting coaching. And I know I said coaching. It's not really coaching because she really does ignite your dreams, but it's that creativity that she sees in you that she wants to pull out to start that fire of dreams.
I'm covered in goosebumps because that is absolutely one of the most precious things and the most beautiful experiences for me, because any coach will tell you that we both, that interaction is a benefit for both of us.
Right. And you even do something further. She continues to educate herself. She even has her own coach, because if you're going to be a coach, you kind of need to know what that feels like to be under somebody. So there are coaches that coach the coaches. That's right. And she believes in being the best you comes from her being the best her if you are her client. So everything that she brings to the table is about that. So how many dreams do you have that you just kind of toss to the side because you don't think it's ever going to happen? What would be your advice to them on that?
Do not set it aside. It came to your thought process. It came into your head and your heart and in your gut for a reason. You are being told that this is something that's important. And jot it down. Get a journal. Get a piece of paper. Tell a friend. voice note it. We all walk around with our phones. Voice note it, type it in real quick. Just a little note, whatever it is, and come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have in journals from way past visions of speaking in front of audiences
That you never
full
would
of
have thought was gonna
thousands of
happen.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that I have a dream card,
Mm-hmm.
and it says that I will speak worldwide to 80,000 or more.
That's kind of coming to fruition.
Very fast,
Mhm.
you know.
She's getting ready to be on a national or a global network.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And just by taking that step, you've actually put the first breath of life into that dream.
But you have to take that step.
You have to take that step and trust it.
Mhm.
Trust it. If something keeps coming to you, if it's reoccurring, that thought, pay attention to it.
Yes.
I mean, that's how I
That's
launched
that little
Dream Party.
voice.
Yes. Is that I just was like, okay, I'm being called to do this. And I'm not quite sure how it's going to happen, but I'm just going to start calling event spaces, and I'm just going to start doing this, and I'm going to start doing that. And
And
it
just kept evolving.
it evolved. It evolved. And, kind of going back to the hearts, I was designing jewelry, but then I was called to go buy canvas.
Oh.
And I didn't know why. And I started painting hearts. And it wasn't until I left that relationship that I was like, this makes
Now
total
you know.
sense.
Yes.
I was painting hearts to help heal myself because that emotional side and connection within the relationship didn't exist.
Right.
And it just kept moving. And then I was called, right here, these are my fingers. I went back to kindergarten and, I was just called not to use a paintbrush, but to use my fingers.
And that makes sense because you are putting you
Yes.
into that painting.
Yeah.
And, she has a thing, she's always heartful.
Yeah.
She's always heartful. And one of the things she does at events is she has you write a letter to yourself. Talk about that and why you do that.
Well, there are love notes to self, and I do that because we are in a space, especially when I'm doing a workshop, we're building up. We've uncovered some dreams that you have. We've ignited that spark in some area of your life. And to actually write it down and lovingly say, dear Erin, dear Bren, and write it and sign it, love Bren, love Erin, and to receive it, like a week later,
After you forgot about it.
after you've forgotten about it, right?
Mhm.
And you read it again, and you're like, you know what? I was called to write down these things and write down my dreams, and this is a reminder. It's a
powerful.
reminder.
And I received one of those because I was at the event where I met her, and I completely forgot about it. And here it comes in the mail, and I was like, wow, this is kind of a cool idea because two things happened. I realized that what I do have to say to myself matters, and if I don't think it matters, then I'm never going to go anywhere. So she brings out that dream in you because you do matter. You matter to her. She matters to her. So I want to ask you why people should let themselves matter to them.
Oh gosh, the tears are starting to swirl, or the emotion. Everyone matters.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I've said, I was brought here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You were brought here for a reason. Every single person watching this was brought here for a reason.
Yes.
Period. And if you don't think that you have purpose, please call me.
Yeah.
I will pick up the phone, I will answer your email, and I will give you a reason to matter. And let me say this, that I talk about being the ripple.
Yeah, please.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's one of my favorite things. She talks
yeah.
about.
So you think about, picking up a pebble and you throw it into a body of water, and it creates this kind of this ripple effect or vibration. And all of those rings are actually your purpose, is why you matter. And along the way, what happens? You're affecting other people.
Yeah, you're running into them as you go out.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'll give you an example. I had a woman, and here's the powerful thing, is that I was speaking with a woman once, and she was like, well, I heard you talk about the ripple, but you know, I just don't have a big enough ripple to change people's lives. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, let's reframe a little bit. And she's in health and wellness. And I said, did you talk to someone, one person this week about their health? And she said, yeah, I talked to several. Which is important. I said, whether she buys your product or not, you were the ripple for her to start thinking about her health.
Yes.
And smiling at a stranger and giving someone a sincere, heartfelt compliment could be the ripple in their life.
They might have needed it at that very moment.
Yes. And gave them their own significance, or that was impactful enough for them to go out and do something amazing. You know, maybe it was, you know, I'll just use like to be an international speaker. You know, if I'm the one that's giving the compliment, maybe I'm not supposed to be. Maybe the person that I smiled at and said, you know what, you are lovely. Mm-hmm. You are glowing today. Has anyone ever told you you have the most magnificent smile? Mm-hmm. That compliment, that interaction could be the ripple in that person's life to go and be an international speaker.
That's right.
And you played a role in it. That's why we matter. Mm-hmm. Everyone has significance.
And a ripple doesn't have to be a tidal wave, because a tidal wave destroys. A ripple does
That's
not.
Right. That's right. And that's why, you know, wording matters.
It does.
You know, and that's why just flow with it. Just flow with it. And it might just be, consider it like a trickling stream. Mm-hmm. Because when things have like, oh, a tidal wave, or gosh, I just feel like a tornado went through my, you know, life right now. It is.
Sometimes you do need to be disruptive, or to be challenged to go a different way, and sometimes you have to disrupt your current life to get to the better life, but at the same time, ripples can still have that same effect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing about ripples is that they vibrate backward.
They do. And then they start running into everybody else.
Yes, yes. So we're all just kind of in this moment of flow, and the ripple, and you know, there's science behind it. Mm-hmm. Science behind the heart and the vibration and the interaction. So if anything, make sure you show up every day in a positive way and find something.
Right.
Okay. Yes. You know, let's just use, you know, our bank accounts. Yeah. You know, I just don't have a very large bank account right now. Okay, that's fine, but there's resistance there. Mm-hmm. But if you can go, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful that I woke up this morning. Does that not feel better? Does that not put you on a different trajectory for the day?
Change what you're valuing over what you're following.
Yes, yes. And so that's, I mean, again, we started the conversation or this topic on, you know, how do you help people feel like they matter? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, everyone matters.
They do. Everybody has a place. They have a purpose. They have a value. And you need to realize that no matter where you are in life, even if you already have all that, you can still be better at it. I tell people, I am not better than anybody, but I am better than one person, and that's the person that I used to be.
Very true. Mm-hmm. Very true. We are always, we need to be in a state of constantly learning expanding, because ultimately that's what we are as humans. I mean, that's where our spirit is continually growing.
Absolutely. Where can they get in touch with you at?
Well, the best place would be my website at erinpaige.com.
No matter what, you have a purpose, you have a value. In order to get sometimes where you need to be, you have to change your mindset, which means changing your actions, and that will change your life. So thanks for watching. We have fabulous stories coming up, new episodes with some people you're just going to love. So just stay tuned and watch more. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Hello, this is Erin Paige, your host for Dream Party KC 2022. What does DREAM stand for? It stands for Dare Radiantly Every Day and Moment. And if you are ready to ignite the spark within your dreams and in your life, this is the event for you. Go ahead and reserve your seat today at erinpaige.com.